Aries, should I go clear coat? Oh, you don't give a shit. Hey everybody, it is Vaultfox, and today I am actually pretty terrified because today is the day that I'm going to be putting on the 2K clear coat onto my husband's Mandalorian armor. Basically, what I've done so far is I have sanded and smoothed all of the pieces. They all have a nice flat black layer of Montana Gold Shock Black on them, and what I'm essentially going to do is be using Spray Max's 2K clear coat to get a nice glossy finish on the black so that it will be nice prepared for the chrome that I'm going to put on top of it a little bit later. It is currently November 10th and it is about a month away from C2E2. And from the amount of research that I've done on 2K clear coat, like for one thing, I have watched so many videos on it and that they're mostly car content, and honestly I'm not even mad about it because there was this one video of this guy painting his car this really amazing color of green, and honestly I wouldn't be painting my car that color green if my car already wasn't lime green. Anyways, I've learned a lot from those videos, and I've also been confused from a lot of those videos because one of the things with 2K clear coat is it has a 48-hour pot life. So if you don't know, let me actually grab a can. So this can of clear coat is essentially 2 parts, and up here is this red little stopper thing, and essentially what you do is you take this red stopper thing out and you basically slam it into the bottom here, and it will enable the hardener to go into the actual, rest of the product and mix together so that your clear coat will properly harden. So essentially this can will be shelf stable for, I don't know, a while, until you put this red stopper into the bottom and mix the hardener in. And once you do that, you have about 48 hours to use the product. And this can is about like $23, so you don't really want it to go to waste. I want to get as much use out of this as I can within like the first, me popping the seal on the bottom. Oh my God, I need to sit down again. I'm too old to be kneeling down in front of the camera. So one of the things that I did, and you will see that before me talking, is that I set up my entire spray area already. I have all my pieces of armor laid out, so all that I have to do is pop the seal on this and essentially go to town and spray every single piece. So each of these pieces I'm gonna be spraying 3 times, and I'm gonna be letting the layers cure for about like 5 minutes in between each layer. That's kind of my first step, is making sure my area is prepped and I'm set up for success whenever I pop the seal on this thing. Second thing, and I know you guys are so tired of me talking about this kind of stuff, but you're gonna need a respirator and you're going to need gloves because this stuff is way, way, way more toxic than just spraying, aerosol spray cans. You're gonna wanna make sure that you have a respirator on with filters that are rated for fumes, and if you can be working outside or working in a garage, make sure your garage door is open, all that kind of stuff. So that is all of the prep work that I did for these pieces. Like I mentioned before, they all have a layer of Montana Gold Shock Black on them. Some of the pieces paint has been cured for a couple days, and then the Mandalorian helmet I only was able to spray last night around like 7. So it's only been about 12 hours for that Mandalorian helmet. However, I've read that you can basically spray this clear coat on even like after 5 minutes of spraying on another type of spray paint, but don't quote me on that. This is just my experience. So I guess all that's left for me to do now is to actually, spray this stuff on. First thing you're gonna wanna do whenever you're using 2K clear coat is to shake up the can without enabling the hardener yet for about like 2 minutes or so. Now that I'm done mixing this for about 2 minutes, I'm going to take off the little red stopper here, put that cap on the ground, and we're gonna take it on this little bottom. See, there's like a little hole in the bottom of it, and you're gonna wanna place it there, and then you're gonna have to smack it. Ow! Trying this again. Then you're just gonna place it on there and you're gonna smack it. And actually, this might end up being a lot easier if I take this over to like a bench. Let's do that. I don't even know if that's in there all the way. Okay, yes, it's in. So now that the hardener is in there and has been activated, we're going to shake this up for 2 minutes. So all that is left for me to do is to just kind of bite the bullet and actually just spray this all down. I'm not gonna lie, I'm terrified that I'm gonna mess this up and then I'm gonna have like a ton of orange peel and everything's gonna look bad. But yeah, so let's get to it. right, so I've got 3 layers of 2K clear coat on all of those pieces of my Mando armor. This isn't all of the Mandalorian armor for the costume. I'm only clear coating the things that need to be chrome in the end, so I don't like waste a ton of money on these cans of 2K clear coat. So everything looks pretty good. I think for my first time doing it, it's not too bad. I think there might be a little bit of orange peel on some of this stuff, but I do know that you can kind of wet sand this stuff once it cures. But I think that that was caused because all of my stuff was pretty close together and there was some overspray getting on other things. So that's just something to know for the future and for you guys to keep an eye out for. Another thing I noticed whenever I was working on this was that whenever my gloves got a little bit too over the overhang here, it would like result in splatters on my armor. If you're gonna be using gloves with this, which you really should be, make sure that your glove finger is pulled back really tight. So whenever you spray, you don't get all those little bubbles that come off of that. But yeah, that took me 2 cans of 2K clear coat to get 3 layers on every piece that I have out here. And again, it's just those pieces that are gonna be getting chromed. So now we wait. And this is one of those things that whenever I was doing my research, I couldn't get a clear-cut answer on how long you're supposed to let this stuff cure. I saw things that said you could let this stuff cure for 24 hours and then you're free to go and paint on top of it. And one of my pieces just fell, hold on. No, okay, it's all right, it's all right. The shoulder piece was like, I'm done with this. But yeah, like I was saying, I read some things, saw some videos that said you could essentially start painting over this in 24 hours. And then other places said you need to let this stuff cure for 7 days. So I have the time to let it cure for 7 days, so I'm going to do that. One last thing before I let this just kind of sit and do its thing and cure. I'm gonna let these coats cure for about 1 hour to 2 hours so that they're safe to handle. And I'm going to take them into my basement. I feel a little bit better about it curing well inside of my house as opposed to just sitting in my garage that's like fluctuates temperatures because we're always going in and out of it and all that stuff. And also I live in Pennsylvania and it's starting to get cold here because it's November. Okay, so everything is in my basement right behind me, all on our poor 3-legged coffee table. Like this leg comes out a lot. So I will be seeing you after 7 days and sharing my final thoughts on the process and things that I may have been able to do better. And I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of them because this is my first time working with it. So I will see you guys in a week. Hey everybody, it is actually not a week later like I was saying in my previous clips, but it is actually November 13th. It is exactly 72 hours after I put all of this clear coat on the Mandalorian armor I've got behind me. And the reason for that is because I was actually talking to Off Earth LLC. He's like my painting guru, but we were talking on Instagram and he mentioned that with the mix of paints that I use, the Montana Gold Chalk Black and the 2K clear coat over top, that I should be good to go to, you know, handle all of this stuff and to potentially paint it 72 hours after the fact. I am very impressed with how this came out. I personally am notoriously bad at botching my prints at the painting stage because I am just so bad with, you know, certain spray paints, not mixing with certain top coats and stuff like that. So I am just so over the moon with how this looks. So anyways, let me stop talking to you and let me actually show you what it looks like. This is a shoulder piece and like, look at how freaking glossy that is. I am so happy. What I would probably do for next time is whenever everything is drying inside, I would make sure that I would have it sitting kind of further up and away from the brown backing that I have, because if you can look here, if you can see right there on the corner, there is a little bit of that brown craft paper that's stuck in it, but that's okay. I can sand this right off. But for future reference for you guys, if you're going to have the stuff dry inside, make sure that it's kind of elevated off of your surface so that you don't have anything sticky there. You know, it just kind of negates a step that you would have to do. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to paint today because it is a little bit cold outside. It's in like the 40s today. And while airbrush paint is usually okay to do out in the cold, I don't want to go into my garage and paint today because it's kind of cold. But yeah, hopefully this video helped you out, kind of quelled your fears about using 2K clear coat in your own projects, and look forward to a follow-up video where I will be actually painting all this Mandalorian armor. If you have any other questions about my process, about what I did, what I learned, what I did wrong, leave them down in the comments below, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye!